Hey everybody, this is Joe from Super Console Bros, and today I wanted to go into a bit of a rant. Again, sorry for the lack of content. I've just been busy with, at least on my end. Thankfully, Drew is keeping people occupied, but um, I've just been busy writing as well as getting a couple of builds for my game, and working out a couple of bugs with my programmer and whatnot. I can't program, but I've got a programmer, and I've also got a meeting later today on Skype, but that's besides the point. Today, I wanted to go into a rant. I just wasted $8. You want to know on what? On Geese for Tekken 7. Now, I wanted to go into this is just from personal feelings. If people like the character, that's fine. If people are happy with the character, that's fine. I personally am not, and I'm just here to give an opinion. Not just now, before anybody thinks, oh, you just don't like SNK. SNK is actually one of my favorite companies. They've made some of my favorite games, Metal Slug, King of the Monsters, the King of Fighters. I mean, the best way to put it, out of all the King of Fighters characters, we get that fucker. A character that has a very spammy playstyle where potentially a lot of his moves can be just repeated over and over. Or his fucking counters can't be chickened. You can't wait them out. That's the main problem that I have. Not to mention that I don't like that the character's an ass. I mean, don't get me wrong. I got nothing wrong with a cool villain. I just never had a liking for Geese, personally. I'm much rather, if we were going to have a villain, I would have much rather have had Raiden, or maybe Tung Fu Ru. I don't know if he's exactly, a villain, but at least to my knowledge. But out of all the SNK characters, we get a character that is overpowered and could be spammy as fuck, and honestly, I've got a feeling that bastard's gonna be banned. I got to play with him for a good hour and a half, and I was not impressed. I feel like Koei Tecmo did a much better job when they picked Mai for Dead or Alive, and I feel as though characters like Clark or Leona or Sokaku or a character from frickin' Samurai Warrior, if I remember correctly, or not Samurai Warrior, there's some kind of samurai game that SNK made, or Antonov, or Kula Diamond, any of these characters, even Rock Howard. Rock Howard, if I remember correctly, at least has a somewhat different moveset. He would have been better. Vanessa could have been better. Me personally, out of all the KOF characters, though, I wanted King of Dinosaurs. But I'm not here to rant about just Geese. Honestly, I mean, you could argue, I'm here to also rant about Noctis and the guest characters in Tekken overall. Other than Akuma, I wasn't happy. Noctis does look fun, and from literally my first impressions, I was excited. I know this is going to sound like people are going to be mad, but he honestly does fit in Soul Calibur more. Now you might argue, what's up with Gon? Gon, from that little frickin' dinosaur, he didn't fit at all, and, he is regarded as a fun character. Honestly, I look at him as a joke. As in a joke character, kind of like Dampierre in Soul Calibur 5, or how in Soul Calibur 2 we had, joke weapons for every character. Honestly, that's how I look at Gon. It's kind of like how frickin' Virtua Fighter had Pepsi Man. It was ridiculous and it was fun and off the wall, but it was a joke character, so nobody took it seriously. And, you know, it could have... You get the idea. Not to mention, there are a couple other Final Fantasy characters like Tifa or frickin' not just Final Fantasy VII either, Waka, or maybe you know, characters like that are like brawl focused, or maybe Riku because she's more of a thief and more of using equipment, not really magic. I don't care if a character wants to use a weapon. Yoshimitsu, I'm fine with. If you wanted to add frickin' Ryu Hayabusa, which was one of the characters I was also thinking could have been great, who has weapons, that's perfectly fine. You want to add something supernatural like a vampire? Or, you know, Kazuya with his monster form? Fine. You know, me personally, if we were going to get a Square Enix character, although this character has not been around in a while, I think this series needs a comeback or a third installment, even though I'm stuck at the final boss, but I wanted Aya Bree from Parasite Eve. Now, that would have been epic. Her parasite energy and everything would have been great. Now, again, you might argue, well, you know, Noctis was basically added because of the whole cup noodles thing, pretty much. But you might argue, oh, the Injustice thing was, you know, sponsored by Domino's, and the Ninja Turtles are getting added. Well, you know why the Ninja Turtles actually makes more sense than Noctis does? Because they had a collaboration or a crossover comic with Batman, and the Ninja Turtles started as a comic. They've at least got some connections to DC. You know? I mean, don't get me wrong. I have played Final Fantasy 15. I haven't finished it yet, but in my opinion, it is a great game. Noctis is a cool character, maybe a little overrated, but he's a cool character as a character in Final Fantasy. But I feel as though he would have been much more fitting for Soul Calibur. If we were going to get a, you know, like a powerhouse character, or like a, you know, if we were going to get a Final Fantasy character, maybe just one that wasn't so focused on magic. There's one that there could be characters that could have fit in very well. You know, for example, if I remember correctly, another character that isn't magic oriented, now correct me if I'm wrong, but it's Locke from Final Fantasy VI. Or you could have done, maybe, if you wanted to do another weapon character, why not Zidane? You know, if you want to do a weapon character, fine, but I'm sorry, but if Harada ever sees this video, you don't know guest characters at all. Have somebody else pick them for you. Because we could have had... I mean, we could have freaking had characters like Iori or Kim. Or freaking, you know, I forget the dude, but he's that midget with those Freddy Krueger kind of claws from SNK. You know, we could have had all these freaking characters. You know, I'm not here to just go on a wish list, but... And after playing through Yakuza Extreme, albeit it was my first Yakuza game, I could see why a lot of people wanted Kiryu. And I would have had... If I had to pick one character to get rid of, I would get rid of Geese. I'm sorry, but I would have replaced him with another SNK character, because I feel as though he's just going to clog up the lobbies and people are just going to act disgusting with him, figuratively speaking. I'm sorry, but Kiryu over Geese or Noctis any day, and honestly, like I said, if we were to have a Final Fantasy character, why not, like I said, Titus? Well, maybe not Titus, because he is a little focused in magic. But if we want to have a character that is like strictly or more focused on blades, why not Auron? Or, like I said, Zidane? Or freaking, you know, Locke? We could have had all those characters. But no. cup noodles. Square Enix just had to advertise Final Fantasy 15 for the whore that it is. Now, don't get me wrong. As great as Final Fantasy 15 is, from my experience, I have not finished it yet, but I've enjoyed it. It is a good game, in my opinion. It is a fun game, but Square Enix is milking it like a fucking prized cow. And it doesn't help that Noctis is now in Tekken. I'm sorry, but I'm not happy about it. Feel free to give your opinions. If you're honestly happy about both of the characters, you're welcome to be. But I'm not. I feel as though next time, for the next Tekken game, someone else should pick the character for it. Honestly. Catch you around, everybody.